Okay, so in this segment, because we have kind of limited space here, um, I did not want to, mess everything up by trying to do Hindi script and Urdu script on the same chart. So now we're going to look at all the vowels and what the graphemes or representation or symbols or how does it show up in Urdu script. Remember, the language is the same for us. The vowels are the same because it is the same language, right? And the values attached to the vowels, everything is the same as, let's say, Hindi, right? There's no difference between Hindi and Urdu where the vowels are concerned, except for the way it is written. So the script is different, and we've already talked about how it goes right to left. And in the previous segment, we gave you examples of what the vowels look like if you begin a word with it, right? Now we will look at what the vowel looks like if we begin a word with it in Urdu script, in the middle, and at the end. All right? So since it is Urdu script, let's get used to now going right to left. So the value a. If you begin a word, let me write begin. If you begin a word, this is what it looks like. Okay. A. If you begin a word, that's what it looks like. E. If you begin a word, that's what it looks like. Long vowel E. If you begin a word, that's what it looks like. So a, e, u. If you begin a word, no, sorry, that's the long vowel. Just the u is that. Okay. What am I? Yeah. And then the long vowel. U. Then we have A. If you begin a word, it will look like this. And we have A. It'll look like this. O. It'll look like this. And O. It'll look like this. So what you'll notice is in the shapes, what is one thing common to all the vowel representations? They all begin with this line. Okay, so in Urdu script, a word that begins with this danda, the stick, the line, you know that it's a vowel. Okay, the word begins with a vowel. Okay. Now, if you have a in the middle, you just don't put it in. Okay, it's not written in. It is assumed that the is there. Okay, what about at the end? Again, nothing. So if you have a word like dud or something, you just stop at the consonant and nothing is at the end. What about words like Teresa? You know, a name like Teresa or sofa. In Hindi script, quite frankly, there is no way of encoding sofa, the vowel at the end. Okay? In Urdu scripts, interestingly, what they do is they have a flip down h, like sofa, which could tell you that it's not sof, but sofa. Okay? We'll talk about that later. But there's no represented at the end of a word. There is no representation for that sound. Okay? Now, if we begin a word with we put a tilde on top of it. In the middle, what we do is we have this. So this symbol, I'm putting this loop here to indicate it is attached to something that precedes it. Okay? And now it represents ah. So if it does show up in a word in the middle, that's an ah. Similarly, at the end, that's an ah. Okay? So short vowel is not written in. If you put this line or danda, then, by the way, the Urdu name for this letter is alif, right? So if you put this alif there, it represents ah sound. If you begin a word, you need the tilde, but not in the middle or the end. Okay? Now, e. We said if you begin a word, it looks like that. In the middle, we don't put anything in. So how do you know if the word is but or bit? You don't. Okay? So you try it out. Again, is there a diacritic you can use? Yes. To differentiate between but and bit. But people don't use that diacritic, so you should get used to like trying to figure it out. And similarly, at the end, there is no representation for a short E. No Hindi-Urdu word ends in a short E. So if it doesn't exist, we don't need a way of representing it. Okay? Does it exist in the middle? It does. And what do I mean by does it exist in the middle? What I mean is phonemically, can it bring about a difference in meaning? Yes, it can. Okay? It can encode, let's say, grammar. Wo pit gaya, he got beaten up, versus peetna is to beat someone else up. So it could represent grammar differences and other. So it's phonemic. That means it can bring about a difference in meaning. So if a word begins with a long E, that's what it looks like. In the middle, the long E will look like that. But at the end, the long E is going to look like that ducky or swan or whatever. If a word begins with short U, like in Urdu, that's what it will look like. In the middle, a short U will not be written in. So nothing. At the end, no Hindi word ends in a short U, not written in. Okay? That's true about the language. That means no Hindi-Urdu word will end in a short U, then you don't need a way of representing that sound. Okay? Again, in the middle, although it doesn't have a representation, does it exist? Yes, it does. And it exists phonemically, meaning that it can bring about a difference in meaning between, let's say, in English, for example, putt and put, right? The golf putt versus put leads to two different words. Similarly, in Hindi-Urdu, it can lead to two different words. I don't want to bring in new vocab. So, but realize that it is phonemic. It can give you different words. Okay? But no Hindi-Urdu word ends in short oo. If you begin a word with a long oo, that's what it looks like. In the middle, that's what it looks like. And at the end, that's what it looks like. Okay, so that's the long oo. If a word begins with a, that's what it looks like. Okay. In the middle, that's what it looks like. At the end, that's what it looks like. Hanger kind of thing. Okay. If a word begins with a, that's what it looks like. In the middle, that's what it looks like. At the end, that's what it looks like. Okay. Again, you can say, my goodness, beginning, middle, end. Beginning, middle, end. It looks identical. How do you know what the value is of the symbol? Is it a or is it a? You can only know from the context. There's no other way. If a sentence ends with a, this symbol, you know it's like hai and not hey. Why? That's the verb. Hey is a what you use to call out to someone, or it's an exclamation, like hey. Well, usually used with a god's name or something, like Hey Ram or something, versus the verb form hai, which is the verb for is. If you begin a word with o, that's what it'll look like. In the middle, it'll look like that. At the end, it'll look like that. Okay, and o. If you begin a word, that's what it looks like. In the middle, that's what it looks like. At the end, that's what it looks like. And, we were commenting on how if you have someone's name like Joan versus June versus John, how do you write it differently? You can't. So you have to know. Maybe the context will tell you a little bit about the gender, like the gender on the verb being used. But other than that, there's no real way of differentiating between, o and aw, and a and a. Okay. Finally, the vowel sequences like I and ow. Okay, we've done this. So this is ah, and we need a hamza and then the I. Okay. If it's in the middle, like let's say we're trying to write the word bite or bike, okay, then we're going to go ba, ah, here's the hamza. So after the ah, remember, in the middle, if you have an ah, you don't need the tilde. So this is ba, and I know a different vowel is coming up. Now you have two choices. Either you can go, wait, I ended up writing bike. Either you can do bike. Here, we're using a short e, bike, versus bike. So you could do a long E. Okay, so you could put a short E, or you could put this, icky-bicky placeholder with two dots under it. Okay, and so that's bike versus bike. Okay, and similarly, ow will be ah, and then the there are two things. You could put a hamza directly on top of the oo. It's allowed. Or you could put a placeholder for the hamza and then put the oo. Okay? Okay. So that's ow. Okay. And let's try to write. So if you're writing something like out, right? So this is your ah. Here is your hamza. Here is your oo. And here is your t. Out. All right. So that wraps up the representation of vowels. Okay. In the next segment, we are going to talk about some remainders or some quirky bits that we left out. First of all, we will complete the consonant grid with some symbols that we had left off, and we are also going to cover this bit about one symbol, different sounds versus different symbols, one sound. And finally, in Urdu script, we need to talk about one representation, one grapheme, but different shapes depending on where it occurs, okay, especially with consonants. We've done a little bit with vowels, that it's the same vowel, but whether it is in the beginning, middle, or end, you get different shapes. Similarly, with consonants in Urdu script, where it is, you'll get different shapes. And so we'll talk about that. And in Hindi script, we've done these different shapes with independent form and the dependent or matra form. Okay? See you in a bit.